Amara Coleman stood before the mirror in the department store's changing area, smoothing out the fold in her ivory silk gown. With just 3 days to go before the big day, she was still hunting for the ideal footwear. The seventh option she'd slipped into that afternoon felt nearly ideal. Heirloom white pumps featuring a balanced height, though doubt lingered in her mind. The 25-year-old had long grown accustomed to relying on her own judgment. After years in the foster system, she'd been renting a modest one-bedroom unit through a government assistance initiative ever since her 18th birthday. As a project coordinator at a building company, she pulled in a solid income that let her indulge without hesitation. And now, this union. Marcus Holloway, a 32-year-old structural specialist, had captured her affection 6 months back during the office festive gathering. Standing tall, impeccably attired, sporting a warm grin and thoughtful hazel gaze, he'd wooed her with genuine charm. Bouquets arrived weekly, intimate meals by flickering lights, and extended strolls beside the seaside walkway. Marcus brought her to meet his mom after merely 4 weeks together. Then, 8 weeks on, he'd pop the question amid the sands on a getaway to Miami, Florida. Vivian Holloway, a 55-year-old with a chic bob and impeccable cosmetics, welcomed her prospective daughter-in-law with open arms. Vivian served as a licensed caregiver at the local medical center and had lost her husband 5 years earlier. She shared a roomy 2-level home in the outskirts of Atlanta with her boy. Thus, she readily consented when Marcus floated the idea of the couple joining her household post-nuptials. "Mom's place is massive, Amara. Plenty of space for everyone," he'd persuaded her over a shared meal 4 weeks prior. "Plus, we could lease your flat." Amara raised no protest. Back then, she figured her soon-to-be mother-in-law's company would foster a genuine home vibe, the kind she'd craved since her early years. In that moment, amid the cubicle, she reviewed the ceremony's logistics in her head. Gown secured, bands inscribed, location booked. A small crowd. A handful of Amara's workmates, Marcus's buddies, his mom, and his relative. Amara lacked kin of her own, a fact that occasionally weighed on her, particularly at milestones such as this. The bride-to-be removed the pumps and neatly draped the outfit over the rack. Time for a definitive pick. Snag these elegant flats or search further. Chatter filtered from the adjacent stall. Fresh shoppers had apparently arrived. Amara might have ignored it, yet one tone rang a bell. "You confident the scheme will unfold smoothly again?" came a feminine rasp, mirroring her impending mother-in-law's exactly. "Without question," a male with a resonant timbre shot back. "We've pulled it off twice before. The paperwork's prepped. That incapacity declaration can get inked whenever." Amara went rigid. The lady's inflection was unmistakably Vivian's. But what scheme? Instinctively, she hit record on her device to capture the exchange. "Certain she won't catch on," the woman pressed. "My boy and I simply require her place, her funds, and her tucked away in the loony bin, per our arrangement." Amara's veins turned to ice. No mistaking it. This was her mother-in-law, scheming against her. The woman pressed against the partition, holding her breath. "Aaron, recall his part," the fellow queried. "Naturally, my boy's a top-notch performer. Post-ceremony, he'll subtly dose her meals. Within weeks, delusions and odd conduct will surface. We'll summon medics, and with the housing docs in place, Marcus is already earning her confidence. Once the marriage is locked, securing control over her assets, to handle the lease they'll claim will be straightforward. And with that in hand, we're golden." Amara sensed the floor vanishing beneath her. So his affection, the entire courtship romance, amounted to sheer fakery. Marcus and his mother aimed to seize her residence and commit her to a mental institution. "Aaron, suppose she senses foul play." Vivian's tone carried unease. "She'll sense nothing," the man assured with poise. "Orphan like her, utterly isolated. No allies to challenge or probe. I'll select the substances, ensuring she grasps none of it. She'll chalk it up to wedding jitters unraveling her nerves." Silence fell, broken only by paper shuffling. They seemed to be scanning files. Her pulse thundered in her skull. "Fine, meet at my practice tomorrow evening," Aaron declared. "We'll iron out the last bits." Agreed, mustache. Marcus awaits at the house. Footfalls echoed, followed by the neighboring door clicking shut. Amara remained solitary, struggling to accept the horror she'd overheard. She'd caught every word of it. Her fingers trembled as she slipped back into her outfit. Her mind whirled with questions. What was her next move? How could she play this? The tale was so outrageous it bordered on unbelievable. Yet the voice belonged unmistakably to her future mother-in-law, along with her groom's name. Suddenly, pieces of their romance snapped into a horrifying mosaic. Marcus had popped the question almost too soon. He'd pressed hard on her money matters, her living space, and family ties. Learning she was orphaned had oddly delighted him. "No outsiders meddling in our home," he'd remarked. Amara emerged from the changing area on unsteady feet. The footwear purchase was forgotten now, trivial in comparison. Her priority was plotting the path forward. Call off the ceremony. That would tip them off that she'd uncovered it all. What if she was mistaken? And it wasn't her mother-in-law, but someone with a matching tone. No, doubt had no place here. She had just 3 days to shield herself from these fraudsters. 3 days to shift from prey to predator. Stepping out of the shopping center, Amara's lips curved into a sharp, resolute grin. They'd snag her place all right, but on terms they never imagined. That night, Amara perched at her kitchen table, feigning interest in a wedding glossy. In truth, the overheard exchange dominated her every notion. Marcus had headed out to a buddy's for bachelor bash planning, granting her a quiet window to reflect. She sifted through what she recalled about her betrothed. Their paths crossed at a work event for her building firm. Marcus had shown up repping a subcontractor outfit. He stood out, tall, handsome, impeccably attired. He'd swept her off her feet with his pursuit. Rose arrangements, upscale dining, lavish presents. Now it clicked how an ordinary mid-career techie afforded such flair. If scams were his game, funds from past marks would cover the extravagance effortlessly. Amara fired up her computer and dove into online queries. Marcus Holloway alone spat out countless hits. She refined it with the city, his job, still zilch out of the ordinary. His online profiles appeared spotless, work snapshots, pal pics, and their couple shots from recent times. But a savvy swindler wouldn't flaunt red flags digitally. She pivoted to Vivian, the nurse at the local clinic. Simple to check. She'd ring them tomorrow with a fabricated reason. For now, the guy's name stuck. Aaron. Her mother-in-law had used it casually, hinting at deep familiarity. The chat revealed he was a shrink, probably in a top role. Amara entered Aaron Psychiatrist Atlanta into the browser. The third result led to the area's psych ward site. Head of Psychiatry. Dr. Aaron Sterling, MD, a veteran healer boasting 2 decades in the field. The image depicted a 50s-ish fellow with thinning hair and piercing gaze through slim silver frames. Amara fixed on his visage, committing each detail to memory. This was the fellow scheming to commit her to an asylum. She probed deeper into his credentials. Med school grad, residency done, stacks of scholarly articles. Superficially, he was a pillar of the profession, untarnished. Yet if the eavesdropped plot held water, he'd orchestrated like this twice before. The door lock turned. Marcus had returned. Amara slammed shut the tabs and grabbed the periodical once more. "Hey, love." He pecked her cheek and dropped beside her on the couch. "How'd the day go? Score those heels." "Not quite," Amara answered, eyes locked on his expression. "I'll hunt more tomorrow." "No stress, you'll nail it," he assured, draping an arm over her. "The key is your joy on our special occasion." Master performer. Without the secret, she'd swallow his earnestness hook, line, and sinker. Amara forced a genuine-looking smile. "Marcus, share about your mother. I barely know her." "What about?" he said with a lift of his shoulders. "Ordinary lady. nursed for decades, brought me up solo post-dad's passing, stayed single, always claimed I topped her priorities. Buddies, workmates, she's got 'em. Marcus eyed her quizzically. What's with the sudden curiosity? Odd line of questioning. Just nosy. We're tying the knot soon, eager to learn your inner circle. Fair enough, he pondered. Couple work pals, chats with docs now and then. One dropped by a lot back when I was home. Aaron, I believe. Amara's pulse jolted. Confirmed. Old ties. His line of work. Psychiatrist. Mom raves about his expertise. Amara inclined her head, feigning indifference to the details. Marcus, have you ever been in any committed partnerships prior to this? Now he regarded her with genuine surprise, his eyes widening. Amara, what's gotten into you lately? You're behaving oddly. We've already covered all that ground. Sure, we touched on it, but without going into depth. I simply want to understand the background you're carrying into our union. Naturally, I've had some romances, he admitted. Rising from the couch, he headed to the window, adding that none were substantial. You're the initial one I'd pledge my future to. And regarding Vivian, did she give her approval to your earlier partners? Amara, enough, he snapped, spinning back with frustration edging his tone. Is this some kind of questioning session? Perhaps you ought to share about your former flames. Forgive me, she replied, getting to her feet and approaching him. It's likely just those nerves before the ceremony. I'm anxious about how your mother might regard me. Marcus pulled her into an embrace and planted a gentle kiss on her brow. You foolish thing. Mom thinks the world of you. She keeps mentioning what a gem you are. How fortunate we are with that place we live in. He paused abruptly, aware he'd slipped. I mean, how blessed I feel to be with you. He amended swiftly, but Amara had already pieced it together. So his prospective mother-in-law was indeed fixated on her residence, and it wasn't a fleeting idea, but a deliberate focus. The remainder of the night unfolded routinely. They viewed a film and chatted about the last arrangements for the wedding. Amara sensed her intended's watchful stare, lingering on her repeatedly. Her inquiries had clearly unsettled him. Once Marcus drifted off to sleep, she remained alert for hours, staring at the ceiling and pondering her next moves. She had to collect proof without arousing the con artist's doubts. With just 2 days until the vows, 48 hours to flip the predators into prey. Step 1, the following day, she'd arranged to reach a private detective. These issues worked best when handled by an expert. For now, she must embody the loyal partner, avoiding any hint of doubt. Amara slipped silently from the sheets and moved to the window. The city at night shimmered with illuminated spots. Far off, a locomotive's horn echoed. Come morning, her pursuit, like a feline stalking a rodent, would commence. In the early light, Amara stirred in her flat ahead of Marcus. As he showered, she swiftly searched online for local investigation firms. She selected one focused on domestic cases. Fact investigations. A male voice responded when she rang. This is Ike. Good morning. I'm seeking assistance on a sensitive issue. Could we arrange a face-to-face today? These topics suit in-person talks best. Absolutely. What time suits? How about 2 p.m.? I'll send the location via message. Amara confirmed and ended the call right as Marcus emerged from the bath. Who was that? He inquired, rubbing his hair dry with a towel. The salon expert. I booked for the next day. She fibbed smoothly. Excellent. I've got to sit down with Mom today. We'll finalize the party logistics. Mind if I join? Amara offered. I'd love to contribute to the setup. No point, he responded promptly. It's all tedious planning. You concentrate on your glow-up. The wedding's highlight is the bride's allure. Yet another warning sign. Why avoid including her in the session with his parent? They'd always gathered as a trio in the past. Post-meal, Marcus departed for his job, leaving Amara solitary. Her initial action, phoning the regional medical center. Pardon me, is Vivian Holloway the nurse on staff there? She queried, altering her pitch a touch. Indeed, she is. May I ask who's calling? Her relative from out of town. I hope to deliver an item to her workplace. She's on shift through midday. Front desk area, level 2. Thus, the mother-in-law was legitimately in nursing. Yet this didn't confirm her role in the ruse, though it explained her familiarity with the mental health specialist. By 1:30 p.m. airing, Amara reached the agency's spot, a compact suite on the building's 3rd story, with a plain sign by the entrance. Isaiah Ike West proved to be an engaging fellow around 45, with silvery gaze and a solid frame. "Take a seat." He gestured to the spot opposite his workspace. "Explain the circumstances." Amara recounted the full tale meticulously, from their initial encounter with Marcus to the exchange she'd eavesdropped on the prior day. The investigator paid close heed, jotting key points. "It's a shocking account, to be sure," he remarked upon conclusion, though hardly isolated. Property cons via coerced commitments are a familiar ploy. So is something like this feasible? Regrettably, it is, particularly when the target is isolated and the schemers possess ties to healthcare setups. Ike reclined in his seat. The challenge lies in substantiation. "What's your suggestion?" "We should scrutinize the histories of your betrothed and his parent. If they're genuinely involved in such an operation in any such scheme, clues are bound to surface. We also have to uncover the link between Sterling and the Holloways. How much time would that require? With focused effort, perhaps a day or so. But here's the issue. Your ceremony is set for tomorrow. Discovering proof only after the union is sealed would complicate any annulment." Amara mulled it over. Naturally, she might delay the event with some excuse, yet that could alert the fraudsters to trouble, prompting them to vanish and leaving their wrongdoing even tougher to substantiate. No, the nuptials would proceed, she resolved. However, by that point, we'd require unassailable evidence. "Perilous," the investigator replied, shaking his head, yet shrewd. Picture them believing their scheme succeeded. They lower their guard, and suddenly their entire web of misdeeds unravels. Ike grinned. "I appreciate your strategy." "Fine. We'll operate with urgency, though I'll require your assistance." "What sort?" "I must access the Holloway's residence, scope it out, perhaps locate papers or incriminating items. That's feasible if you can lure them away for 3 or 4 hours. Say, direct them on matrimonial tasks." Amara pondered the idea. Come morning, she had an appointment with the cosmetologist for hair and makeup. Her cover was set, and she could dispatch Marcus along with his mother for final preparations like shopping. "I believe I can manage that," she stated. "Splendid. Now here's the outline." For the following hour, they hashed out the operation specifics. Ike detailed precisely what to seek in the home, ways to enter without detection, and protocols for crises. "And one final note," he added at last. "Stay vigilant. Should these folks truly tie into what you eavesdropped on, they'll go to extremes for self-preservation." "I get it." Amara inclined her head. "Regarding compensation, once the investigation wraps and we confirm their culpability, I'll charge the usual rate. Otherwise, my services come gratis. Such terms built trust." Amara clasped the detective's hand, handed over the key to her prospective mother-in-law's abode, provided by Marcus as his intended spouse, and departed for home. En route, she paused at a gadget shop to purchase an inexpensive disposable cell for contacting Ike. Her primary line might be vulnerable if the con artists were savvy operators. Back at her place, Marcus greeted her with a cluster of pristine roses. "How's it going, beauty?" He planted a kiss and offered the blooms. "I longed for you." "Thanks. They're lovely." Amara inhaled their scent. "How did the chat with your mother go?" "All sorted. Tomorrow promises to be memorable." "Marcus, might I request something? In the morning, I've got to visit the stylist for hair and makeup. And could you and your mom fetch the cake? It's meaningful. Mother and son gearing up for the big day. She can inspect its freshness and appearance." "Absolutely, love. What hour for retrieval?" 11 a.m. And perhaps grab some bubbly en route. Our ordered supply might delay. Smart thinking. Mom and I will cover it. No stresses. Ideal. Thus, come tomorrow's dawn, the sleuth would gain a few hours to scour the Holloway's domain. Meanwhile, she had to sustain the facade of an adoring betrothed. The night unfolded calmly. They caught a lighthearted film on the screen. Marcus shared amusing tales from his past. Oh, Amara forced smiles and chuckles where appropriate, though inwardly revulsion roiled. How adeptly he deceived. Did he view her solely as a mobile fortune? As they retired, Marcus enveloped her with unusual warmth. "Tomorrow you'll be my spouse?" he murmured close. "I'm eagerly awaiting it." "As am I," Amara answered, pondering the endurance of this ordeal. Sleep evaded her for hours that evening, her mind replaying the impending scheme. Flawless execution was essential. She'd get just one shot to unmask the deceivers, and failure wasn't an option. When wedding day arrived, Amara roused in her flat, steely in her commitment to resolve it all. Marcus was already active in the galley, whipping up a meal. "Morning, future wife," he beamed. "Restful night." "Flawlessly," she fibbed. Truthfully, slumber had been fitful, plagued by uneasy visions. Mother rang earlier, inquiring about the cake timeline. "As I mentioned, 11 o'clock, Redwood Street Bakery, Unit 15. "Noted, and your manicure slot." 10:30, followed by the hair appointment. "I should return near 3. Superb. We'll sort everything before your arrival." Post-meal, Marcus exited. Amara, now solitary, promptly rang the investigator. "Ike, the scheme's underway. They'll head for the cake at 11, then the fizz. That grants you roughly 3 or 4 hours. Clear. I received the Holloway's location yesterday. Prep commences now. Progress on the history probe. It's underway. Some intriguing details emerging. Marcus Holloway boasts 2 prior documented unions in over the past 5 years. A shiver coursed through Amara's body. Marcus had 2 previous marriages, yet he claimed she was his initial one. His first spouse, Eliza Coleman, aged 30. She'd been widowed prior to their union and possessed a 2-bedroom condominium in the city center. The split was ruled due to her mental unfitness. The second, Olivia Rhodes's, 28 years old. Their bond ended just 1 year following her predecessor's separation, citing the partner's psychological instability. And their fates. Eliza Coleman had spent 4 years in the local mental health facility. Condition: schizophrenia. Officially deemed unfit. Olivia Rhodes resided there too. Identical diagnosis. Each had forfeited control over their properties. Amara's fingers shook. Heaven help us. Does this imply prior casualties? Apparently yes. And the most striking detail: both women's primary doctor was Dr. Aaron Sterling. We must rescue them. Initially, though, we require proof of the harm inflicted. That demands paperwork, audio captures, whatever tangible proof links the Holloways to Sterling. Thus, infiltrating their residence grows crucial. Understood. Proceed with caution and keep communicating. Amara ended the call and attempted to steady her nerves. Her doubts had proven true. And far graver than imagined, these offenders already claimed lives. 2 females decaying in an asylum, courtesy of their schemes. By 10:30, she departed her place, ostensibly for the esthetician and nail tech. Truthfully, she stopped at a beauty parlor for half an hour, opting for the quickest basic manicure to bolster her cover. Afterward, she headed to Marcus's mother's home to verify their departure. The 2-level dwelling sat in an aged Atlanta district. Amara pulled over at a safe remove and observed. At 10:55, Marcus and Vivian emerged, entered their vehicle, and sped off. Moments later, she texted the investigator. Path open. Now patience was key. She proceeded to a different salon for her bridal hairstyle session. As the hairdresser crafted the updo, Amara pondered Ike's discoveries. "The bride seems a bit wound up today," the hairdresser observed. "Makes sense, sure, but ease up. Tension knots your face muscles. It'll ruin the evenness of your cosmetics. Just jittery, Amara responded. Such a monumental occasion. Totally get it. Does the intended seem decent? He came across as solid, Amara admitted truthfully. At 2 p.m. or the investigator rang. We have to talk. Pressing matter, uncovered intel, easier to demonstrate face to face. Your current spot? The parlor on Liberty Avenue. Central Perk Cafe sits right opposite. I'll be there shortly, in half an hour. Amara settled the bill swiftly with the staff and dashed from the shop. Her pulse raced. The investigator's tone signaled grave revelations. Ike sat in a quiet nook of the coffee spot, awaiting her. A slim dossier rested before him on the surface. What turned up? Amara inquired, taking the seat across. Beyond my hopes. He extracted papers from the packet. Your betrothed logs his endeavors meticulously. The investigator revealed the contents. Copied records, snapshots, scribbled annotations filled it. This covers Eliza Coleman, the initial partner. A thorough blueprint for the scheme. Encounter, romance, nuptials, slow introduction of mind-altering medications. Amara scanned the pages, nausea rising from the horrors detailed. It outlined every step chronologically. Timing for dosing, faking psychosis signs, summoning physicians. And here's the dossier for the follow-up spouse. Ike displayed a parallel set, with minor adjustments post-error analysis. What errors? Eliza grew overly wary. She began querying locals on her mate's conduct, forced them to accelerate and deny her probing time. 4. Olivia. They approached her with greater precision, cut her off from acquaintances and work ties, persuading a career shift. Upon commitment to the facility, she'd severed nearly all ties. Amara turned the sheet and spotted her image. They'd initiated a dossier on me too, fully assembled. Examined you exhaustively. Assets, kin links, or absence of social network. It held specifics on her employment, earnings, residence, plus account summaries. How'd they obtain that? Marcus lacks entry to your finances, right? The investigator probed. No, just glimpsed a pay slip at my place, nothing else. Suggests insiders at financial institutions. A formidable network. Ike withdrew further paperwork. This maps their outfit. Marcus and Vivian lead operations. Aaron Sterling orchestrates. Plus aides. A financier staffer, legal certifier, municipal official. A full-blown illicit operation really. Indeed. But the most intriguing aspect involves their schemes for the coming days. The investigator presented her with a planner filled with annotations. Post-ceremony, they intend a getaway where they'll deliver the medications. Next comes simulating a psychological collapse, summoning paramedics, admission to a facility, followed by proclaiming incapacity, separation, and unloading the property. Classic routine. The funds get split between the crew. Amara balled her hands tightly. Scoundrels, and the ladies stay confined in the ward per the records. Indeed, they receive ongoing doses to sustain the disorder's signs. No aim for improvement. It's homicide. Gradual, yet homicide. I concur. That's precisely why we must move boldly. You've gathered all the proof. The investigator returned the papers to the file. The issue remains. How shall we deploy it? Amara checked her timepiece. Just 4.5 hours remained before the nuptials. We could halt the event and alert authorities, Ike proposed. Absolutely not, she stated resolutely. Alerting them prematurely would lead to shredding every trace and vanishing, leaving their targets trapped in the asylum. So what alternative do you suggest? We see it through completely. Allow them to believe all proceeds smoothly, then deliver a shock precisely at the registry office. The investigator nodded pensively. Perilous. Suppose they sense trouble and attempt escape. She won't detect a thing. I excel at performing when required. All right, then I'll require moments to arrange the big unveiling. How long? A few hours. I must reach out to officials, compile paperwork. You'll pull it off. I certainly will. They clasped hands, and Amara departed for her residence. The toughest challenge lay forward, enduring the final stretch alongside the fraudsters, feigning ignorance. Returning to the flat, a beaming Marcus welcomed her with a bunch of peonies. "How's it going, beauty?" He planted a kiss on her face. "Gorgeous hairdo?" "Thanks." Amara grinned, striving for authenticity. "How'd the errand for the dessert go?" "Superb. That pastry is an absolute masterpiece." Mom's overjoyed. "Plus, we grabbed the bubbly and blooms." "Where's Vivian at the moment?" "Back home prepping." She's all jittery for the occasion. Claims she'll gain a genuine daughter at last. If only she realized the kind of offspring I've lined up for them. "Marcus, mind if I rest briefly?" "The beauty treatments wore me out. I need to recharge before the ritual." "Sure thing, love. Take it easy. I'll load the papers into the vehicle meanwhile, lest I overlook." Amara entered the sleeping quarters and stretched out on the mattress. She had to refine the closing elements of the strategy. Crucially, avoid revealing herself too soon. The con artist couldn't glean a hint until the instant of confrontation. Her bridal gown dangled in the wardrobe. Stunning, lavish, purchased from her savings that the deceivers aimed to plunder. She'd skip new footwear ultimately, opting for a fitting set from her collection. Marcus bustled about the space, reviewing invitees, phoning the food service. "Amara, Mom wonders if she should pack her camera." "For what? We've got a pro shooter. She fancies capturing some kin shots for the personal collection." "More like the crook's keepsake, actually." "Tell her yes if she insists," Amara answered nonchalantly. When the hour struck, the bridal convoy pulled up, vehicles adorned with blossoms. The chauffeur assisted Amara into the ride cautiously to avoid creasing the attire. "You appear utterly heavenly," Marcus remarked, settling beside her. "I'm the most fortunate fellow alive." "Same here," she responded, pondering how often he'd uttered those precise phrases to his prior spouses. En route to the municipal office, Marcus gripped her palm and chattered about their escape itinerary. Amara assented and beamed, though her mind dwelled elsewhere entirely. She speculated whether the investigator had assembled all essentials for the takedown. At the administrative structure, Vivian awaited in a fresh azure outfit. She seemed dignified and somewhat moved. "My sweet child," the future mother-in-law enveloped Amara. "You're stunning, truly like royalty." "Appreciate it." Amara reciprocated the hug, suppressing disgust. "Where's the rest of the crowd?" Marcus inquired. Inside, anticipating his mother answered, "Uncle Arthur's present." "Your pals as well." They ascended the broad steps to the ritual chamber. It was an elegant, lofty vaulted area festooned with posies and streamers. The attendees, roughly 15 in number, had arrived. Amara spotted a few of Marcus's buddies and an elderly gentleman who must be the uncle, yet her focus shifted to someone else. A man of middle years in somber attire, positioned in a remote nook. Ike. The investigator was on site. That signaled preparations complete. "Marcus, who's that fellow near the pane?" She whispered, acting unaware of the investigator. "Who?" He peered that way. No clue. Likely a contact of another's. "Mom, did you bring in anyone else?" "No, just the ones we settled on," Vivian answered, glancing at the unfamiliar face too. "It's fine," Amara assured her. He could be from the local government or snapping photos. The formal proceedings kicked off shortly after. Dressed in an elegant outfit, the county official gave a warm opening address, highlighting the value of familial connections. "And now we'll inquire if the engaged pair is prepared to bind their futures through matrimony," she declared with gravity. "Marcus Holloway, will you accept Amara Holloway as your legal spouse?" "Absolutely." The bridegroom responded with conviction. "Amara Holloway, will you accept Marcus Holloway as your legal partner?" A hush descended. Every attendee held still in anticipation. Vivian grinned, relishing the payoff of their extended scheme. "No," Amara stated distinctly. An eerie quiet blanketed the venue. Marcus's gaze widened in shock. "What did you say?" he echoed. "Amara, Have you got it wrong somehow? I grasped it all clearly, she answered steadily. And my response is no. I won't. The official awkwardly flicked her eyes between the pair. Maybe it's the jitters. We'll pause briefly. No pause needed, Amara addressed the crowd. I need to share something with all of you here. Marcus reached for her arm. Amara, end this foolishness. Get away from me, she snapped. Hands off, you deceiver. A wave of astonished whispers rippled across the room. Vivian blanched. What do you mean? Marcus fought to stay composed. I'm fully aware of your schemes, Amara declared, retrieving her phone from her bag. Including your plot to commit me to a psychiatric ward and seize my home. Are you out of your mind? Marcus surged ahead. Insane indeed. Amara activated the audio on her device. Vivian's recognizable tone emanated from it. Are you certain she won't catch on? My boy and I simply require her property, her funds, and her shipped off to the loony bin, exactly as planned. The prospective mother-in-law gripped her heart. Marcus squirmed, scanning for an escape. This must be an error, he stammered. The audio's been tampered with. An error. Amara chuckled. And how about Eliza Coleman and Olivia Rhodes? Your ex-spouses, now confined in asylums because of your actions. The attendees started showing real concern. One rose to their feet, another fished out a cell phone. I have no idea what you mean. Marcus attempted to feign ignorance. You don't. Ike rose and advanced on them. Then explain these files. The investigator produced the dossier from the hallway residence, containing outlines of their schemes, methods for drugging targets, and rosters of co-conspirators. Marcus and his mom traded looks. Vivian pivoted toward the door, only for two undercover officers to bar her way. Law enforcement. One flashed his identification. You're staying put. And the ringleader? Amara inquired. Where's Dr. Aaron Sterling? Right on schedule, additional cops filed in, guiding a bespectacled elderly gentleman. Amara identified him from the clinic's online image. The physicians here as well, she noted with pleasure. The full group's assembled. Marcus attempted to force toward the exit, but was swiftly subdued. Vivian sobbed, murmuring denials of comprehension. Mr. Holloway and Dr. Sterling, you're under arrest for suspected deception, document forgery, and unlawful confinement, the lead detective proclaimed. Spectators in the municipal building captured the chaos on their devices. The official lingered in bewilderment, unsure how to proceed. Amara, Marcus growled while being cuffed and removed. You'll pay for this? No. She countered evenly. You'll be the one facing remorse for harming those you targeted. Once the fraudsters departed, the space settled into calm. The crowd slowly filtered out, buzzing about the astonishing wedding conclusion. Ike neared Amara. Impressive job, he commended. You're a real warrior. Thanks for your support. I couldn't have pulled it off alone. What's next for you? Amara eyed her bridal gown, then the bands on the officiant's desk. First off, I'll switch outfits, she grinned, and afterward, I'll embrace genuine living from here on. The following day, Amara stirred in her own bed, half convinced the prior events were a wild hallucination, until the vacant gown container in the room's corner grounded her in truth. At 9 a.m., Ike rang. Morning, feeling all right. Fine, Amara said, extending her limbs. Actually great. After months of unrest, I'm finally resting easy. Makes sense. Update on the investigation? Mine stopping by the station in 2 hours. Sure, crucial stuff. Extremely. Interrogations overnight uncovered details you'll want to hear. Amara dressed swiftly and arrived at the detective's workspace within the hour. Ike welcomed her with stacks of files. The all-night questioning produced a trove of info. They started by settling her into the seat. Marcus Holloway and his mom chose to assist the probe in return for lighter penalties, and their revelations. Plenty. Their crew had been active for more than 7 years, it emerged. Not just 2 targets, but 5 in total. 5 females, Amara burst out. Regrettably, that's right. The initial trio of schemes took place in different towns, explaining our delayed detection. The investigator flipped open the initial file. This outlines their operational history. It kicked off in Charleston, South Carolina. The target was Natalie Grant, who owned a single-bedroom flat. Vivian worked as a nurse at the nearby medical center. She crossed paths with the therapist Sterling during a healthcare summit. At that point, he was still honing the fraudulent plot. Amara then skimmed the papers. Images of the ladies, medical admission records, deeds for property transfers. So Sterling's the key planner. Precisely. The rest function as managers, but the Holloways pocket the biggest cut from the housing deals. What about the ladies themselves? They're all still breathing. The earliest pair passed away in medical facilities from excessive medication intake. The investigator responded somberly. On paper, it was ruled as self-inflicted due to psychological disorders. Amara inhaled sharply. They basically murdered them. Indeed. Sterling administered huge quantities of mind-altering meds. As for the remaining three, Eliza Coleman and Olivia Rodas, they're surviving. They're housed in the regional mental health facility. The last one, Lauren Vance out of Savannah, ended up at a nearby treatment center, though the leads dried up there. Ike retrieved yet another file. Crucially, here's Sterling's confession. It lays out the entire operation. He identified every partner involved, quite a few, forming a full web, including a public official who sped up the authorization forms, a financial worker who leaked details on the target's finances, a municipal officer who expedited the weddings, and even a property broker who offloaded the victims' homes. Amara shook her head, stunned by the sheer scope of the wrongdoing. So what's next for them? In custody. Charges have been filed across multiple counts: major deception, unlawful confinement, and prompting self-harm, all carried out by a coordinated ring. And is aid possible for the women who made it? Efforts are underway. Eliza Coleman and Olivia Rodas now have unrelated specialists overseeing them. They'll go through purging of the mental meds, with real prospects for healing. The physicians remain guardedly hopeful. If their minds haven't endured severe harm, mending could happen. Naturally, it'll demand considerable time. Amara pondered that. What about getting their homes back? Tricky. Legally, the sales occurred via legal proxies. Yet given the case's context, judges might void those deals. How much time? Years, the investigator admitted forthrightly. Our legal framework isn't famed for quick resolutions. Amara rose and approached the glass pane. Beyond, a lovely spring morning unfolded. Folks rushed through their routines, oblivious to such fiends lurking close by. Ike, might I visit those ladies? For what reason? I need to confirm they're on the mend. And to express regret? Regret over what? You're a survivor just like them. I nearly became one. But they're the real sufferers. Without that chance eavesdrop chat, I'd have been the sixth. The investigator acknowledged with a nod. Fine. I'll coordinate with the experts, though a visit can only occur after a few days once their states improve. Appreciate it. One additional matter. Ike went back to the files. The inquiry requires your full account. Detail every aspect of your ties to the Holloways. Absolutely. When? Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Moreover, the investigator paused. Consider therapy support. Experiences like yours leave lasting scars. Amara grinned. Actually, I'm doing wonderfully. After 6 months, I finally sense my existence is mine alone. Even so, mull it over. Rebuilding faith in others proves tough following tales like this. That night, Amara lounged in the kitchen clutching a mug of tea, reflecting on the recent upheavals. Her cell buzzed nonstop with reporter inquiries. The wedding day revelation had already hit the headlines. She picked up just the key ones. A colleague rang up. Amara caught the coverage real. Your intended was a fraudster. Heavens, and I'd puzzled over your recent seclusion. Figured it was bridal jitters. Not jitters. Instinct. Clearly, some inner signal kept alerting me, though I couldn't pinpoint it. How'd you uncover it all? Amara shared the tale of the stumbled-upon dialogue. Her colleague let out a shocked cry. reeling from the details. You're incredible. Just think what might have befallen you, and countless additional females in that villain's who could have been fooled. Hey, mind if I run something by you, buddy? Sure, shoot. If any rumors pop up around the office, spread the word that I'm steering clear of this subject for now. I need space to sort through all that's gone down. Absolutely. Got it. Once her chat with a friend wrapped up, Amara powered down her cell and hit the hay. The next day brought her statement to give, followed by the gathering with the scam victims the day after. Out on the edge of Atlanta stood the county mental health facility, housed in an aging brick structure encircled by a sturdy barrier. Amara showed up there with Ike and the freshly appointed department chief, Dr. Jones, who'd stepped in after Sterling's arrest. A heads up, the physician mentioned as he guided them along the lengthy hallway. These folks' states are far from steady yet. We've kicked off detox, though their minds took a real beating. Are they grasping the situation? Amara wondered. Eliza Coleman has clearer spells now and then. Olivia Rhodes still responds weakly. But things are trending upward. They paused before a door marked with a sign. Room 15. We'll ease in with Eliza. Just take it easy on her, okay? The doctor rapped lightly before pushing it open. Inside the compact sunlit space, a slender lady in her 30s, sporting cropped black locks, perched on the edge of the mattress. Spotting the group, she shrank back against the barrier warily. Eliza, folks are here to see you, the doctor murmured softly. This is the woman I mentioned earlier. The lady fixed her gaze on Amara. You're the one who blew their cover. She murmured quietly. That's right. Amara settled into a seat beside the bed. I'm Amara. I came because I wanted to connect with you. And I'm Eliza. The tension in her eased a bit. Dr. Jones mentioned you'd nearly fallen into the same trap with those monsters. Sadly true, Amara admitted. One lucky run-in kept me from ending up in a spot like this. Eliza dipped her head. You see, I spent ages convinced I was losing my mind. The visions kicked in, along with blackouts in my recall. Marcus sold it so well that I truly required treatment. I can only picture how disorienting that must have felt, Amara replied empathetically, like reality itself dissolved. And that's when they hauled me off here. Sterling claimed I posed a threat to everyone, diagnosed me with worsening schizophrenia. How much time have you spent in this place? 4 years. Eliza glanced toward the outdoors. 4 years those creeps robbed from me. A pang hit Amara's chest. Eliza, any family or pals left? I had some, but post-admission, Marcus convinced them all I was beyond saving. Visits tapered off. Same with my place. She gave a wry grin. He cashed it in, snagged power of attorney, and got me labeled unfit. But that's all shifting now, Amara declared resolutely. The deals get tossed out and your standing gets reinstated. You truly think so? More than think, I'm certain. I've got solid ties to legal pros. We'll secure what's right. For the first time in ages, Eliza wept. Not from sorrow, but relief. Thank you, she breathed. Without you, save the thanks. Focus on healing and gearing up for what's ahead. Olivia Rhodes came next. Her state proved tougher. The lady barely registered her surroundings, her stare fixed vacantly into the distance. Olivia, visitors for you, Dr. Jones ventured carefully. She pivoted her neck gradually. No spark of familiarity lit her expression. Do you catch my words? Amara probed. She does, but responding right isn't possible yet. Sterling dosed her heavily. It'll drag on for her turnaround. Amara edged nearer, clasping Olivia's palm. Olivia, I'm Amara. I'm here to say the horror's finished. Marcus is in custody. Sterling, too, locked away. A flutter of her lids and brief awareness gleamed in her look. Marcus, she uttered faintly. Yes, Marcus Holloway. No more harm from him. Olivia gripped Amara's fingers and wept wordlessly, raw and deep, purging years of torment. As they departed the center, Amara sensed utter weariness. "Rough, huh?" Ike queried. Beyond rough, witnessing how they warped those ladies. Still, a shot at real living lies ahead for them. Real. With years of therapy, court battles for their homes, piecing back paperwork. Yet it's worlds better than fading away in psych care. He nailed it. The road forward held hardships, but Eliza and Olivia now clutch possibility. "Ike, any word on Lauren in Savannah? Local cops down there are on it. I forwarded every file. If she's out there breathing, she'll taste liberty too." That evening stretched as Amara lingered at her screen, digging into patient protections, steps to reclaim capacity, and reclaiming swiped assets. Resolve settled in. She'd dive into these women's plights, scorning the con artist's damage. Come morning, she'd scout a top attorney and launch the push for their entitlements. 7 days post-reveal, Amara occupied a chair in the suite of the town's premier legal outfit. The lawyer, Simone Cole, a woman in her 50s sporting silver-streaked hair and sharp, intense gaze, was meticulously reviewing the case files. "This matter is truly outrageous," she remarked, sliding the documents to one side. "Legally speaking, though, it's quite intricate." "In what way?" Amara inquired. "On paper, the apartment transfers were properly handled. The powers of attorney got notarized, and the court rulings declaring incapacity remain valid. Yet it all stemmed from deceit, establishing that in a courtroom won't be straightforward. Will require eyewitness accounts, medical reports, and solid proof of duress. Even the scammer's own admissions might not suffice on their own. They'll assist, sure, but opponents could dispute them, claiming the statements came under duress or as a plea deal for lighter punishment." Amara pondered the implications. "Still, there's definitely action we can take. Initially, we'll submit requests to reinstate the victim's capacity to act. That's feasible, given the fresh medical evidence. Simultaneously, we'll draft claims to void those deals. Mind you, it's a drawn-out affair, anywhere from 1 to 3 years. And during that span, will the women end up without a roof? Not inevitably. We could seek an emergency order to block any transfer of the disputed assets. That would halt sales until the judge rules." "Sounds promising. Let's proceed." "Amara, are you certain about shouldering this burden? Legal battles drain finances and nerves." "Absolutely. I've got reserves, and I'm prepared to invest them in what's right." Simone Cole gave an approving nod. "Very well, we commence. Just know the property purchasers won't go down without a fight. They obtain the units legitimately, in their view. And what's in store for them? Optimistically, they hand back the apartments plus reimbursement for expenses. Pessimistically, the deals get nullified with no payout. That's equitable. No one should gain from another's suffering." Following the consultation with the attorney, Amara headed to the medical center to check on Eliza and Olivia. Over the past 7 days, their health had shown clear progress. "Amara," Eliza exclaimed with a bright smile, "how's it going? Any updates on the legal fight?" "I've secured a top-notch attorney. We're launching the effort to reclaim your standing. It might drag on, but justice will prevail. I guarantee it." Olivia appeared more vibrant, too. A spark of awareness lit her eyes, even if she remained mostly quiet. "Olivia, do any memories surface from your days with Marcus?" Amara probed softly. "I do recall," the woman whispered. "He handed me tablets, insisting they were just supplements." "Anything more? Like how they transported me here. I protested that I was fine, but they ignored me." "Those details carry weight," Amara noted. "The lawyer will record them formally." "Why go through all this?" Eliza wondered suddenly. "Why devote your energy and funds to near strangers?" Amara paused to formulate her response. "I've spent my life isolated, in foster homes, then solo in my place. Just 6 months back, I believed I'd built a real family. It was all a ruse. Now I grasp what family truly means. Folks who stand by one another through tough spots." Eliza's face softened into a grin. "So, does that make us kin to you?" Only if you're okay with it. We're more than fine with that. Eliza clasped her hand. Thanks, sis. That night, Amara got a call from Ike. Update on the Savannah case, he shared. Lauren Vance pulled through. She's at the area's mental health facility. How's she faring? Stronger than Eliza or Olivia. Seems they dosed her for a shorter period. And her place. Transferred to a new owner. Fortunately, it's a front entity tied to Sterling's outfit, which simplifies recovery. Great, make sure your Savannah team gets our lawyer's details. One more thing, Marcus Holloway wants a sit-down with you. For what reason? He claims it's to express regret and offer insights that could aid the prosecution. Amara wavered briefly. Fine, but with the attorney present and everything taped. Understood. I'll arrange it for the morning. The jail left a profound mark on Amara. Dull concrete barriers, iron-grated openings, and rigid security personnel. She navigated multiple security posts, handing over her cell phone and bag. Inside the visitation area, lawyer Cole and the lead detective were already waiting. Moments later, Marcus entered. The former betrothed was profoundly altered. His old swagger had vanished. The sleek attire yielded to jail garb. He seemed exhausted and frayed. Hi, Amara, he murmured, settling opposite her. Hello, she answered curtly. Appreciate you showing up. Get to it. What's the purpose of this? Our time's limited, Marcus said, wearily massaging his features. I need to atone for all the harm I intended for you. Not only you, those 5 others as well. He averted his gaze. Look, I didn't turn into this overnight. The initial push came from Mom. She insisted we needed funds for her care. What care? Her mother was battling cancer. The surgery demanded a fortune we simply couldn't afford. The attorney jotted down each detail meticulously. And as for your mom, you chose to exploit vulnerable ladies. Initially, it felt like a one-off choice. We figured, fine, we'll trick just one, save her life, and call it quits. Yet you kept going. We kept going. He shook his head in regret. The cash vanished in no time. Then Sterling proposed running the con again. And you went along with it. I'm flawed, Amara. I grew addicted to the quick cash and lavish lifestyle. Plus, Mom urged me on. She claimed affluent women wouldn't even notice the loss. They wouldn't even notice. Amara's tone grew stern. Eliza Coleman wasted 4 years of her existence. Olivia Rhodes nearly shattered mentally. I realize that, Marcus sobbed. I'm a beast, but I yearn to make amends for my sins. In what way? I'll reveal every detail I have on the plots, the partners in crime, and the stashed funds. The detective leaned in closer. What stashed funds? We didn't divide up all the proceeds. I tuck some away for tough times. There's a concealed bank account. How much does it hold? From what I estimate, roughly $6 million. The attorney and detective shared a knowing look. Plus, there's property involved, Marcus added. Sterling snapped up condos under fake business names. 2 here in town, 1 in Savannah. We can verify it all. I've got duplicates of the paperwork. I stashed them just in case the doc tried to double-cross us. Where's that paperwork? In a safe deposit box. I can hand over the key and authorization to access it. The detective gave a nod. This will bolster the prosecution immensely. And on the victim's front, I'm prepared to take the stand against Sterling. I'll explain how he picked the medications, how he faked the disease signs. Amara paid attention, reflecting that even crooks like him could find redemption. But it's always overdue. It arrives only when fixing things is impossible. Marcus, how about your mother? He gave a wry smile. She still insists we committed no offense. She insists we merely shifted riches toward those in need. So she harbors no regrets. None. And that's the worst part. At least I grasp the wrongness of our deeds. But she genuinely views our choices as righteous. The session stretched on for 2 hours. Marcus spilled all he knew about the syndicate, identified the co-conspirators, and pinpointed where the papers and cash were hidden. Why go through with this? Amara inquired as it wrapped up. I need to somehow ease my conscience. He met her gaze directly. And, though it might seem absurd to you, I really did develop feelings for you. You fell for me amid the pretense. At the start, it was pure acting. But then you proved different from the others we targeted. Different how? Resilient, self-reliant. I aspire to improve myself around you. No point dwelling on that now, Amara responded icily. I get it. But I needed you to hear the honest truth. As she departed the holding facility, Amara wrestled with a bizarre blend of sympathy and revulsion. Marcus showed real remorse, yet it couldn't absolve his actions. His testimony will prove invaluable to the lawsuit, the attorney remarked. Backed by this proof, the judge will undoubtedly favor the plaintiffs. What kind of term will he serve? At least 10 years? Nothing shorter. Factoring in his aid to the probe, they could reduce it to 8. Still too lenient, Amara muttered darkly. But the sufferers will claim restitution and reclaim their homes. That mattered most. Fairness would prevail, allowing the defrauded women to rebuild their lives. 6 months on, Amara sat in a coffee shop, sipping her brew and scanning the paper. The lead story covered the end of that infamous court battle. Scam network faces reckoning, the header declared. Marcus Holloway, 8 years in maximum security. Vivian Holloway, 7 years. Dr. Aaron Sterling, 12 years as the ringleader. The remaining culprits drew terms from 3 to 5 years. Crucially, every affected woman was restored to full legal capacity, and the property sales were voided. Eliza Coleman and Olivia Rhodes reclaimed their residences. Lauren Vance in Savannah regained hers too. Over those 6 months, Amara's world had transformed utterly. She left the building company and launched a charity aiding scam survivors. Their headquarters occupied a modest spot in the city center, but demands kept piling up. Amara, someone's here to see you, the receptionist called out. Ike stepped inside, carrying a bunch of wildflowers. Well done on wrapping up the matter so effectively, he said, offering them to her. Thanks. She arranged them in a jar, though it's not really an ending, more like a fresh start. What are you getting at? We've already heard from 15 folks with matching tales. Seems like these fraudsters are more widespread than we'd imagined. And your next move: assist those in need. Assemble a team of attorneys and sleuths focused on these sorts of frauds. Ike grinned. I was about to propose teaming up, but you've already outpaced me. I'm always. She was thrilled to collaborate with experts. So count me in on the squad. Outstanding. Now, fill me in. How are our wards faring? Eliza Coleman has made a complete comeback. She's resumed her duties. Her goal is to pursue a legal education via distance learning. Ideal. As for Olivia, her situation is trickier. The emotional scars linger, yet she's making progress too. And Lauren Vance out of Savannah, she's got real grit. She's launched a salon for beauty services. The venture is thriving. Amara gave a nod of approval. This shows our efforts paid off. What efforts? Restoring those women's belief in fairness and everyday living. That night, Amara strolled by the seaside walkway, savoring the balmy summer breeze. A youthful pair occupied a seat, fingers intertwined. The woman sported a pristine gown, her companion a pale ensemble. Freshly married, no doubt. Amara grinned, recalling her own botched nuptials. Back then, she'd thought existence had ended, that faith in others was forever shattered. Today, she saw the truth. It all unfolded for the better. Her cell buzzed, snapping her from reverie. Amara, it's Eliza. Hi there, what's new? Fantastic. I've got an update. I've signed up for law studies. Well done. Online program. Exactly. I've chosen to build my knowledge. I aim to champion folks like ourselves who suffered injustice. That's inspiring. We'll end up as partners. And oh, I've started seeing someone, Eliza admitted bashfully. No kidding. Spill the details. We crossed paths at the court building. He fell victim to fraudsters, too. Though a varied sort. He's genuinely kind and upright. Thoughts on tying the knot. For the moment, we're taking it slow. Still, he mentions proposals. And you're okay with that. Oddly, fear's gone. Post our ordeal, I've honed the skill to spot honesty amid deceit. Chatting with Eliza left Amara sensing the day held real value. The individuals she'd rescued weren't just mending bodies, they were forging fresh bonds and ambitions. But her own path. 6 months prior, Amara viewed romance as a veil for selfish gains. Slowly, insight dawned. Humanity varies. Some exploit emotions for gain, others offer them purely. Returning home, a cluster of field blooms awaited on her door latch, cardless as ever. For a full month, these gifts arrived weekly on Fridays, each assortment unique, each unsigned. Amara beamed, a hidden suitor evidently. Curiosity stirred. Who might it be? And crucially, should she risk vulnerability once more? Beyond, the evening city's glow ignited. Out in that sprawl, souls tomorrow might seek aid, and they'd find it, from fighters upholding righteousness. Amara gathered the blooms and arranged them in a vase. Maybe the moment had arrived for a fresh page, one crafted not from trickery or avarice, but authentic affection and shared faith. 7 days later, the floral enigma unraveled on its own. Ike entered the workspace, clutching yet another armful of meadow posies. "You?" Amara exclaimed in astonishment. "Guilty," the investigator admitted with a shy grin. "I aim to connect with you beyond the professional first. Your verdict. You're remarkable, a resilient, equitable soul dedicated to aiding others. So, what's the plan? Next up, would you join me for a meal? Purely social? No business?" Amara pondered. Half a year back, rejection would have been instant. The sting of disloyalty burned deep. Yet today she agreed. A smile lit her face. One caveat, though. Name. Skip the anonymous blooms. If flowers are your gesture, make it known. Deal. Ike chuckled. Their inaugural outing unfolded at a cozy family-run eatery. Conversation flowed freely, careers, aspirations, visions. Ike emerged as an engaging talker, laced with sharp wit. "Amara, mind if I probe something private?" He ventured over sweets. "Fire away. Does letting a guy in scare you still?" "Fear gripped me once," she replied candidly. "Then it hit me. One villain shouldn't bar you from all." Sound advice. Plus, I've built defenses now, a shield versus swindlers. And do I pass muster so far? Absolutely. She grinned, though I'll stay vigilant. Within 4 weeks, their bond deepened earnestly. Ike paced himself, never pushing for hasty commitments. He offered steady presence, trustworthy, forthright, empathetic. "Know what draws me most to you?" He murmured one evening amid a park ramble. "Tell me how you transform suffering into power. You aid the needy instead of withdrawing. And you appeal because you don't play rescuer." Amara countered. "You see my self-sufficiency. That's our perfect balance." All the while, her initiative expanded steadily. Come year's close, they'd supported 27 swindle survivors. They carried out 8 court cases. Victims got back assets valued at more than $35 million. Eliza Coleman was thriving in law school and eager to sign on with Amara's group once she finished her studies. Olivia Rodas launched a cozy flower boutique and was flourishing. Lauren Vance, based in Savannah, grew her enterprise steadily. As New Year's Eve rolled around, a message arrived from Marcus Holloway's correctional facility. "Amara, I'm not sure if this note will reach your eyes, but I needed to mention that I've learned about your initiative, how you're aiding folks in need. It fills me with a sense of honor that our paths crossed. Despite the rough start, I'm doing my time now, reflecting deeply on existence, on the paths things might have taken if I'd shown more resolve. Yet history can't be undone. All that's left is to make amends for one's wrongs. Know that every detail I shared during questioning holds up. Should further testimony be required, I'll provide it without hesitation. And I must express my gratitude for halting our scheme. Without your intervention, we'd have kept ruining the futures of blameless individuals. I hope you find the genuine joy you're worthy of." Amara scanned the message twice, then tucked it away neatly into her drawer. Indeed, the history remained fixed, but forging an improved tomorrow was entirely possible. Come December 31st, Ike got down on one knee. The moment was modest and heartfelt, right there in their living room amid the holiday spread. "Amara, will you wed me?" he murmured, presenting a plain golden band. "What if I turn you down once more?" she teased. "I'll hold out until you agree." "How much patience do you have?" "As long as it takes. My entire lifetime if that's what it comes to." She slipped the ring onto her finger. "Yes," she affirmed. "Yes, 1,000 times over." Their ceremony happened that spring, back at the municipal building where she'd first unraveled the fraudster's plot. This time, though, it felt worlds apart. Genuine, upright, brimming with authentic affection. A small crowd attended. Work associates, close pals, Eliza, Olivia, Lauren, who'd traveled from Savannah. Everyone forming her chosen kin, bound not by lineage, but by shared ideals. "Amara Holloway, do you accept Isaiah West as your legally wedded spouse?" The official inquired. "I do," she answered with steadfast resolve, her voice carrying unwavering faith in what lay ahead. Once the celebration wrapped up and the attendees headed home, the couple lingered by the riverside walkway, the very spot where Amara had once wrestled with her destiny. "So what's the ending to this tale?" Ike wondered. "One filled with joy," she replied with a warm grin. "Utterly joyful." Meanwhile, right in this town, there were souls who could face troubles soon, but aid would come their way, thanks to champions willing to champion fairness. Amara West clasped her partner's hand firmly and gazed forward boldly. Her tense pursuit of the culprits had triumphed, conquering not just the deceivers, but her inner doubts and isolation too. Stretching before her was a fulfilling existence, rich with real emotions, meaningful pursuits, and heartfelt bonds, the reward she'd rightfully claimed. Did this tale resonate with you? Where in the world are you tuning in from? Drop a note in the comments. Maybe we can connect there. If the narrative moved you, consider tossing in a super thanks to fuel more tales like this one. I truly appreciate your kind backing. Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. Check out the 2 fresh personal journeys popping up on screen. They're ones I strongly suggest. My channel's packed with even more gems. Hit that subscribe button, won't you? Catch you for the upcoming real-life adventure. Warmest wishes and utmost regard.